Mic check.
I'll have to link you a video of the mic check.
Live here at New Smyrna Speedway, it's the Major League Esports Super Late Model Series. Getting ready for what should be an exciting night of racing from the short track here. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. I can't wait to see what these guys do at New Smyrna. I haven't been I'm not a big fan of small track racing, but the Super Late models are great, and I can't wait to see what these guys do here, especially when we come to a track like this. It's a paperclip. It's an odd shape, and you're doing a lot of braking. You're gonna see these tires definitely kind of die out throughout the race, so it's definitely gonna be interesting how these guys have their cars set up to be for this event.
I got to give you credit. 33 seconds into a broadcast, and you already managed to stir the pot by saying you don't like short tracks. That's that's fast, but yeah, it's a very interesting racing series, these super late models. Dylan, you're not a big fan of short track racing. You said you're going to like it here, I guarantee it.
You know, we got the ASN hauler. We came in here, we got all the camera equipment set up and the microphones and everything, and as the guys were doing some hot laps and practicing, and let me tell you, we've seen some moves that we haven't really seen on the other series. So this is going to definitely be interesting to watch.
Now, what's interesting, this is the only series we broadcast that is actually open setup, meaning they do not run the stock iRacing or a league-made setup. This is all 100% driver-made. They run whatever they want, which leads to some certain drivers being very dominant. Colin Allman, Adam Yoslin are two names that we are not surprised to be seeing on the front row. Ryan Lang near the back of the field, though, unfortunately, as is Douglas Wasaki, who has not had the best of luck, but I feel like he might be able to turn that around with the right setup as we get ready for qualifying to wrap up in just a few moments here from New Smyrna. New Smyrna Speedway, folks, for those of you that are unaware, is a 0.48 mile long short track nestled in Florida. 37 feet above sea level, 82 degrees outside, with a wind speed of 16.49 kilometers per hour. A little bit more in-depth weather look. 82 degrees, 74% humidity, and partly cloudy. Very interesting weather conditions tonight, don't you think?
Very, especially for being in a Florida climate, it's definitely the wind. I think the wind's what all these teams are looking at, is how is this wind going to affect how their car performs over the long stints. So that would be something you might have to see, because it's open setup, which I love. I love the idea of letting the setups be brought to the teams and brought to the owners, and let them set up the car they want to set it up. But when you come and get the wind and the weather being different what you've been testing all week long, or time you've been here, it's very odd. It's odd coming to a track that is not how you built your setup. So these guys have 30 minutes of practice to tune in, dial in their setups, and I can't wait to see what they bring to the show.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and like I said, we do have some dominant drivers statistically this season. Colin Allman, a new driver here, showed great dominance last week at Concord, so I'm curious to see what he can do tonight. Obviously, setting the pole is a great way to start out his evening.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, look at that whole top six. They're all within 0.1 seconds.
If you look at
so they're close. Times are definitely tight here tonight.
If you look in the top 10, you'll see that there is a 0.375 difference between all these cars. That is an incredibly close gap compared to some of the stuff you see even at short tracks. These guys are basically under a blanket completely, and I'm really happy to see that 65 of Russell Eiler near the front end of the field, actually right outside the top 5. He has had such bad luck this season. I'm hoping he can turn that around.
I think coming home with a win, especially at a track like this at New Smyrna, it's going to be great. It's definitely going to show maybe they might not be the fastest cars at a few of the other tracks they've been at, but maybe at a track like this, it's a little bit bigger than what that they're kind of used to coming from Concord. Concord is a mini Pocono. So it's coming from a track like that to here is a complete different racing environment. So it's definitely interesting to see how they come into these corners and how they come in a pack. Because with the times you see here in qualifying, these are packed times. So whether it be bumper to bumper, door to door, we might see a little bit of bumping and banging going on too, because they're just that tight.
Yeah, now that's something that's actually been kind of lacking from this series, at least for the first 2 weeks. We had low car counts, about 8 drivers actually, and, you know, they would have major gaps. The last 2 weeks we've seen the front group of cars and even the back group of cars were very competitive, and this week, with everyone being within under a second of each other, the entire top 10, and actually looking at it in the entire top 11 drivers who have actually set a qualifying lap, they are not even a second apart. It is going to be very great racing tonight from New Smyrna, I feel like.
I can't to see what they do, especially at a track like this. It's actually a very banked track when you come to look at a small track format. A very small track, and it's banked. That's something you usually don't see a lot of, but it's definitely going to be interesting seeing how they're going to use the banking and how fast they're going to use their equipment.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I feel like I actually think this is most tight field I've seen all season with these super late models. So you can see we're already, you know, we're not even deep into the season yet, and we're already seeing these cars get even incredibly more competitive, and I'm absolutely loving it. I love to see the competition, and we are actually at a peak of driver attendance for this season. So, it's continuing to go up. We're, you know, just about halfway through the season, actually. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, we're just about halfway through the season. Round 11 or round 12 will be at June 11th at Richmond. That'll be the championship event. So we're closing in towards the end of the season. And next week, we head to Stafford Motor Speedway. I feel like that's going to be very interesting, too.
Especially, you know, it's going to be interesting seeing what these guys do with their setups. Because coming from New Smyrna to Stafford, and I haven't been doing a lot of short track racing, but those two this track and the one they're going to next week are very similar to shape and size. So I wonder if they find that the information they get tonight, maybe they might help them next week.
Yeah,
and I think that's where we see the level of competition also increasing, because they're learning how everyone's driving and how everyone's setting up the car, and it's, you know, if you look inside this infield, there's no dividers. You know, everyone's kind of right there. They can kind of look over. Maybe they might be able to peek at someone's tire pressures, or maybe they might be able to peek at someone else's, but definitely going to see it increase more and more.
Yeah, and now on top of that, these guys, I'm sure they'll share setups with each other from time to time, just because this is a very close group of drivers that do race this series and are dedicated to it. So I would definitely believe that they do, you know, from time to time will share setups. Getting ready for the start of the race.
Looks like we got one last driver trying to make a qualifying lap in, and that's Charles Lauren. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it. He's been having a lot of difficulty trying to get that car handling.
Yeah, that he has, but we've had a good race. Charles Lauren was one of the fast drivers last week, if I remember correctly. Should be noted, Dylan Ackard here, you'll remember him from the that one series, the Hardline series that we broadcast. I should really know that. Dylan Ackard filling in for Justin Richter tonight, who unfortunately was unable to make the event. So we are getting ready to give the starting lineup here. The Pine Creek Railroad starting grid coming at you right now. As soon as I get the grid audio, there we go. Starting grid is Colin Allman and Adam Yoslin. Row 2, Jonathan Smith and Gary Smith. Row 3, AJ Brissett and Mike Mahoney. Row 4, Russell Eiler and Joseph McWhorter. Row 5, Bruce Dans and Dan Butler. Row 6, Douglas Wasaki and Jeremy Stanley. Row 7, Bob Loran and Ryan Lang. Row 8, Charles Lahr and Gerald D. Wheeler. And that will round out the field. Very small field at about 15 cars. But, hey, I think it's a perfect size field for this kind of series. Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by the Carolina SimWorks. If you want a good sim racing rig for a reasonable price, I'd definitely check out Carolina SimWorks. They will do everything from big triple screen setups to, small little gaming setups and anything in between. They're amazing. And I know Dale Jr., I'm pretty sure, bought from them too. So I'd definitely check them out every once, if you're in the market for that kind of thing.
As we're listening here, as we're doing a quick drivers meeting, some of the things you can listen in to before we get these engines cranking in that official iRacing pace car to leave pit lane and get this event started. As they went over a few basic rules, it's actually very surprising me how well these guys are just ready to get in. They just want to get in. They want to show what they have. They want to show what they can show off. And this is going to be fun. This is definitely going to be a very entertaining race because we got 16 drivers here. I think this is a perfect size for this series.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because you don't want really a 30-car field at a track like this, because it gets kind of crazy, don't you think?
Most definitely. It's very crazy when you get that many cars out.
Yeah, there is such a thing as too many cars on the racetrack, and we have 4 drivers not gridding tonight, 2 of which are admins, and I don't know if Gary Smith is an admin. He might be. But you see the 67 car, Colin Allman, actually opting for an end-of-line penalty, going to the back of the field for the start of this one. Very interesting there. I would think he'd want to start in the front of the field, considering he is our pole sitter.
Maybe it'll be interesting. I think he did this because no one knows how the cars are going to react in the draft. Yes, we all have 0.48 of a mile track, but we still get draft. So I wonder if he just doesn't like the handling of it in the draft and he wants to see where it goes. But as his pace car comes down, the flagman's holding the green flag as they are off, going into turn 1 as they are going. Look at them.
So the 23 of Jonathan Smith did not get a very good jump on that restart right there. That's going to hurt him as they're 3 wide behind them going down into turns 3 and 4. That 23 car all over the back bumper of Adam Yoslin coming out of turn 4. Down into turn 1, you see he's going to get a great run through that corner. Will not get to the back bumper of Yoslin. Meanwhile, battle for second underway. AJ Brissett actually takes it. Mike Mahoney running 4th. 5th is Joseph McWhorter, and then Russell Eiler running in 6th. That number 65 car has not had a top 10 finish all season. Looking for one tonight. Side
and we're looking out. Ooh, 65.
Hey, he gets in the wall there.
Russell.
That's been his death all season. He gets into the wall like that. Speaking of in the wall, Charles Lahr, dominant car from last week. Already heavy damage on the side of that car. 4 out of 100 laps complete.
Man, that's just showing you that these guys are just pushing their equipment to the limit. As you can see, that 65 of Russell going back into the wall. It's going to be curious if they're doing this on purpose.
No,
they're trying to get the handling, or if it's just that tight of a track. And the setup just isn't matching their driving style.
Well, Russell Eiler, that was his problem all season and has been. He'll get that car. He'll start good, but he'll get it up in the wall and can usually never finish close to where he started. Unfortunately, right now, tonight appears to be no exception to the rule, and that's one disappointing thing. He comes out with such good setups, can easily run inside the top 5 in practice and even in qualifying, just can't put it together in the race and usually falls apart early on. Meanwhile, Adam Yoslin still under fire from Jonathan Smith. I've been surprised there. I was expecting that 83 Toyota to kind of just start to pull away, but see Smith just kind of reeling him in.
It's going to be interesting to see how Smith and Adam go around and they come into this knowing that there's a competition caution on lap 50. So is it do we push our stuff now, especially on lap number 8, or do we kind of push our stuff at lap like 40? Let's get the tire pressures built up. Let's get the car set into play. Maybe let's have the suspension kind of wear down a little bit, and then we'll see where we go. Or do we try to push it? Right now, it looks like Jonathan Smith is just, he's pushing.
I was gonna,
and now I'm following him.
I was gonna say, if you ask Josh or John that question, he's gonna say you're gonna push it, and he's definitely is. You know, meanwhile, I kind of look at this race with the competition caution. I look at it stage racing both out the points, because really it is a stage. You have the first half and the second half at competition yellow in between to split the two parts of the race up. And I wouldn't push it too hard. I feel like Charles Lark, who's retired from the race, and Russell Eiler have done just that. They pushed it too hard too early. But if you're John Smith, I'd be running it the way I was, because you don't want that 83 car to kind of pull away too much. Remember, that's one of the things they want to avoid as well. You don't want to pull away too much, you know?
Most definitely. You can get a very good car at the beginning, but by the end, you know, these cars are not using Goodyear tires that we see as in other series. They're using a different brand of tire, so they put down a different type of rubber. They kind of wear down completely different compared to a NASCAR car that we usually see. So it's most definitely, how are they going to use the tire to their advantage, knowing that these tires are meant to be used for a whole stint?
You know, I'm not too sure, but you know, when we have that competition caution, usually we don't see a car pit. Sometimes we'll see him pit, sometimes we won't. Right now, in car with Smith, as we watch him try to get past that 83 Toyota, who has been oh so dominant this season. Meanwhile, points leader Jason Day, with a gap that is only separated by 6 points to Trevor Edwards, who's also not here. They both do not show, but Adam Yoslin, who is 7 points away from this points lead, well, he's definitely here tonight, so I got a feeling we're going to see a new points leader once we walk out of here.
I think I've said every point matters if you're doing stage racing or normal short track, local short track format. Every point matters, so it's going to be interesting seeing when we come back next week how the points battle is going to change up.
Next week, we'll be heading to Stafford Motor Speedway. It'll be me and Justin Richter calling that. By the way, Dylan, I got to thank you for filling in tonight for Justin, who unfortunately was out of town and was not able to be home in time to call this race.
Well, you are very welcome.
So glad to have you in the booth. Your voice is becoming a regular mainstay here. You'll be with me tomorrow night, too, for the ISDC IndyCar Series. That's coming up.
We have so much racing going on.
Got a car going into pit lane. That's the 45 of Douglas Wasaki. Again, another driver I mentioned in the likes of Russell Eiler, who, you know, he doesn't have good steps, but he's a good driver, but unfortunately plagued by bad luck like this, unable to put together a good finish he needs. But what I was saying here is, or what I was going to say, Dylan, it was kind of funny. You came on one night as just like a guest commentator, and now, well, course of about a week and a half, you're a mainstay here now.
You know, I guess just how the stuff happens. You know, it's great to come in and kind of fill in and have fun and hang out up here. It's fun seeing all the different series we have powered by iRacing. Yeah, we got some dirt series somewhere. I know this group here. Major League Esports is creating a dirt series. We have Hardline, which is creating a dirt series, and we have on Tuesday nights, and we have Hardline, which does Xfinity and trucks. There's just and then we have an IndyCar. There's just so much different types of racing going on
that we do too. Crazy. It's not, you know, it's not just where we can say there's a lot of different types of on iRacing. It's different types that we broadcast. We have and that's what I love about what we do is we have something for everyone. If you want a NASCAR series, well, we've got 3 of them. We have a Truck Cup series and an Xfinity series. You want some local short track racing? Come here to the Major League Esports. You want some dirt racing? Well, we don't have that just yet, but in a few weeks we will on Thursday nights. Or you can race in Hardline Racing's dirt season. And For some of you open wheel fans, we got Indy cars on Monday night. That's coming back at you tomorrow from Phoenix Motor Speedway at 9 o'clock Eastern. Do not miss it, and it'll be a great season. And we got a car around. Mike Mahoney, or at least he saved it, so there's a driver that's going to be looking forward to this competition caution. You know?
Oh, it's about the biggest thing is that when you slide these tires.
You're D&D Racing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'll add you as a moderator too.
The biggest thing is that when you go around and you slide these tires, you could even slide your tires on the exit, and you're heating up that tire, that right rear tire. You're just building heat onto it, which you really don't want to see, as you can kind of watch AJ and that number 5. He just did the perfect example. He pushed it a little too hard. You can kind of see a wiggle kind of on the exit. At the later stages of this event, you're going to see him having a lot of handling issues because of that right rear tire being so built up in heat.
Well, look at Dan Butler, car about to go lap down. Look at the damage he's got to that. What did he do to that thing? That thing has gone through a paper shredder and a half.
Oh, my.
Yeah, now, battle for third right now. Yeah, that'll be Colin Allman and the 5 car of AJ Brissett. Now, remember, Allman took an EOL, started in dead last. Well, he's gained a little bit of damage to his car, but look at how quickly he's climbed to the front of the field. And we got a pass for the lead. Jonathan Smith, lap 31, will take the lead. He'll lead lap 30. First lead change of the night. I certainly wouldn't call it the last, because look at this. The entire top 4 under a blanket right now. Again, some of the most competitive racing I've seen all season.
But look what's in front of Jonathan Smith is lap down traffic. How is this going to affect Adam to get by him? We're going to see what we usually see.
What I think is that Adam's hoping that it's the guys he's been nice to in the lap down spot. Maybe they'll hold up the 23 for him. Pass for second, that'll go to Colin Allman. That 67 car started last, but, I mean, man, is charging through the field. Of course he is. He was the pole sitter. Now with this lap traffic, this is going to get interesting between the 67 and 23. Dodge versus Chevy versus Toyota. 3 manufacturers marketed in the top 10, or top 3.
Man, oh man, look at that. Look at the drive Colin Allman's getting on the middle of the corners.
I still think you're crazy for saying short track racing isn't good. This is amazing.
To watch it, I like to watch it. I'm not a big fan of driving it.
I like driving it. It has to be the right car. I love the K&N car. I'll drive that thing all day.
Oh, look at that pass. Colin Allman's getting right there.
He's going for it.
Go.
Is he going to get it? Yes, he will. Off the corner, Colin Allman makes our second pass tonight as Jocelyn gives a little nudge to that outside wall. Now remember, we're closing in on this competition caution, so this could all change in a few laps, really.
Man, that just amazes me. Colin went around. He must have failed tech inspection when we went onto the grid.
Or he just wanted the EOL.
We got an EOL, especially at a track like this. There's so much brake and tire just by every lap you do. And then he comes back up front, and then he's leading it.
Yeah, he's leading it.
That just amazes me.
And putting a gap on, and you see Russell Eiler being nice. He'll let him by. Now, do you watch Formula One at all, by any chance?
I watch it time to time.
You happen to catch the race this morning from Sochi?
I did not.
Okay, never mind then. I was going to talk about Felipe Massa, but yeah, never mind. I love me some Formula One. I'm getting real big into that. Meanwhile, looking back to John Smith, Adam Jocelyn, they're trying to work each other and trying to get past each other, and big wiggle out of the 83 car. Nice save, though. That would have been interesting had he spun out.
No, it's definitely going to be interesting. I wish I was a pit crew member when we come down there, and if these guys come down for tires, what that right rear tire is. We just saw it out of Adam. We've seen it out of AJ. The wiggles. Those little wiggles don't do a lot when you're looking at it, but it does a whole lot under the body and in the chassis system, and it's just, I wish I knew what those tire pressures readings were, because they must be very, very hot when those cars get that competition caution.
Well, we can interview a driver during the comp yellow, and if you like, you can do the interview and you'll do the asking for him about it.
I don't know if they'll tell us our secrets now.
Well, about the tire temps. I do imagine them to be quite hot.
I just look at Colin Allman. He is just pulling from Jonathan Smith. He has a 1.3 second, 1.5 second lead, and he's just pulling more and more each lap.
Now this could all change though.
But look who's falling back too. Look at Adam. Adam, that 83.
Well, I think he needs new tires because he's kind of ran in that car. And remember, this competition caution thing is not new. We've been doing this for about 2 weeks now, these comp yellows. So some of these drivers might be setting up their race cars to be good on 50 lap or, little short stints because they know it splits in the middle and they have a chance to come down pit lane. I think you have guys like Colin, though, who are kind of setting these cars up for a bit more of a long run.
Oh, definitely. I mean, just look at the lap times we're getting. Colin has been the fastest one on this racetrack for probably about a past like 5 or 10 laps now. He's doing a 17.86. And then you have Adam, who was in the lead at the very beginning, and he's doing 18.0s. So that's just the second time that they're both getting, which is just splitting the field in half.
Yeah, and we're closing in about 2 laps, or a lap till the competition caution. Real quick, before we do take the competition caution, want to give a big shout out to Elliot Henderson Graphics, the official graphics provider of the American Sim Network. Paint scheme, logos, anything you need done, hit Elliot Henderson up. He'll give you a great price and a great product. And that'll be the start of lap 50, and I believe the competition yellow will come here or on lap 51. And there it is.
There it is.
It was with Gerald Wheeler taking the lap, and he'll get the wave around. Lucky man in that number 999 Mercedes.
Oh, that's a very interesting. Maybe you don't see manufacturers in oval racing.
Well, I mean, it's super late models. You'll put whatever you want on these things.
Very
we'll take it to a
true.
quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the interview with our race leader before we go green.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for a breast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
We good?
Yeah, we're back. Back live from the quick. I said a quick commercial break. You see Colin Allman here? I'll let you do a quick little interview with him before we go back green.
Hey, Colin, this is Dylan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
You got an EOL at the beginning. Then you go around and you went last, and now you're back up leading this thing. How are you feel? How did your guys build this setup to get you to be so fast at a track like this?
Honestly, I found some things earlier, and it just really clicked with the car. It started hooking and going. To be able to drive it off in there deeper and keep it in the center and be able to mat it up off, and that's what I've been doing for about 45 laps. Last 5 laps started getting pretty tight on me, but made an adjustment here, so hopefully for the next 48 laps we can keep her going to the floor.
Now, when you build a setup, then we're going to say this as a broad statement, do you like to have your tire pressures very high or very soft? Especially you can come to a track, you come from Concord last week to a track like this. What are your pressures at?
Well, for both Concord and here, I usually start them out 17s on the left, 19s on the right. So that's basically my base. That's where I always start. Basically, at any track I go to, that's where I start. And I got to thank Bob for that, because he's the one that taught me that a couple weeks ago, and that's what I've been running, and I've gotten way faster than I ever have been from that.
Well, we see that you guys are about to go green. The lights are off, and we want to get you back down there with your team, back on your team radio. But good luck to you on this final stage, and hopefully you come home with the win.
Thank you, appreciate it.
That was Colin Allman, folks, driver of the car leading the race, and we are getting ready to go green with 45 laps to go, just under the halfway mark for the remainder of this race. Pace car going to dive down. Dylan Ackhart will call the green.
As here we go, final time that pace car should be out as we are going green. And look at that jump by Colin. Oh my goodness. Wow. If you talk about an amazing start and exit. Wow. Look at him go.
Look behind him, though.
He has a mission.
If you look behind him, you see these guys are still all jockeying for position. You have the Dodge Challenger of Joseph McWhorter trying to get to the back end of Ryan Lang, and then the 38 of Mike Mahoney on the outside. It's Chevy, Dodge, Chevy, and they're all battling for the spot.
It just seems like Mike in that 38 is just a little tight. Just a little bit tight on that center, as you can kind of see the car go up the hill just a tiny bit, which is letting that number 31 of Ryan just get right so close to him.
You see that 12 car actually blinking quite a bit. You see Mike trying to keep that top 5 spot. And you see Ryan, he's jockeying for that spot right there.
Now looking through this field, you got that 99 of Wheeler. He's got back on the lead lap, but he's very off pace compared to these leaders. Right now, the fastest driver is Colin Allman with that 17.5. And Wheeler only did a 17.7, so he is slow off pace. But I'll be curious how, especially getting that lap back, knowing that there were so many other cars, how are you going
Wheeler
to show?
is actually still showing a lap down at the moment. Might have had to pit or something, I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain they give wave rounds to the first car off the lead lap. I will double check that later and make sure we aren't making some mistake by saying that.
That's interesting because I didn't see him take a pit stop.
Yeah. Look at these guys running 2 and 3 right there. That's a battle we've seen all night. The first half of this race, the 83 and 23 going at it, but the man on the point by second, Colin Allman. He leads here with 37 laps to go when we hit the start-finish line. Actually, the entire top 5 really under that blanket, you see. Running very close to each other.
Man, I loved watching that number 73 of Jonathan Smith go into that corner. He just has a beautiful entry in, and you just get that nice, hard, good drive off, which is keeping him so close to Adam. He's just waiting for Adam to make one tiny mistake, and he's going to get by him.
Well, and if Adam makes a mistake, like you said, yeah, he will get by him in a quick hurry, though. It's the question of, though, will we see them get past Colin Allman with 35 laps to go? Do you think we'll see another pass for the lead?
It's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to see a different leader. Right now, Colin has a huge lead as we're waiting for timing to come in. But it looks like he has a 2 second?
He's got a 1.8 second lead at the moment.
1.8 and growing.
Because I've got that with IRTVO, you know, the whole live timing.
Right.
Which is really nice, by the way. Not having to wait for the scoring loop every lap.
But, man, just look at that. He is just pulling from him.
We're going to go in car with Colin Allman right here for this lap. And you can see the gap between him and Adam Yoslin throughout the cycle of a lap. You see it kind of fades away through one end, but picks back up in 2 down the backstretch. Up to about a 2.3 second, 2.03 before it kind of cycles down and cycles back up on the front stretch. So he's fast through the straightaways, but 1 and 2 is his weak corner, it looks like. As we stay on board watching him. What do you make of that, Dylan?
If you can look at the track, turn 3 and 4, there's lines. It kind of looks like it kind of shows you the breakdown of entry, middle, exit. And those are, as a driver, you look for those key braking zones. Especially on that back straightaway, you have banners in the back. So you can kind of look a little to the right to see, okay, I want to start braking at XYZ banner. And turn 1 and 2, there's no banner, there's no line, there's no anything. It's a smooth, flat entry. So it's definitely a harder corner to enter than in turn 3.
Yeah, there's not any really discernible markings on the wall either, like some tracks where you actually, and a little bit of contact between Adam Yoslin and Jonathan Smith as we are in car with the 23 Dodge.
Jonathan was saying, wakey, wakey, we're still here to get ya.
It's like, in Days of Thunder, where Cole hits the back of the 18. Remember me?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here. He wants that spot back from Adam, and that will be for the second spot if he can take it. Oh, my God. I got to text you what Siri thought I said when I can't say it on air, but it's the... Okay, so when I said, hey, remember me, it thought I said, hey, Siri, and then just what it picked up was the greatest thing ever. I'm going to send it to you on Discord right now. It genuinely is the funniest thing I've read in a long while. Check your Discord if you get the... You see it?
Gotta love technology.
I mean, I'm fairly certain I didn't say that.
Technology's great when it works. When
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's just funny. As we got more contact between Jonathan and Adam.
Oh, whoa!
Oh, no!
That's going to be a caution.
Oh.
Wow. No yeah, there it is.
Wow.
I think his night just went from good to terrible.
And we don't have any fast repairs or any backup cars, so...
I can only imagine that did wonders to his suspension.
Man...
It doesn't look like he's having to hold that wheel in any weird orientation, which is good, but... Man, that must have done wonders to that race car. We gotta get an instant replay look at that. I mean, wow. First race of the season, I believe we've actually had a caution flag that was unrelated to our competition caution. How about we ride in car with Adam onto the front stretch for this just wild ride he took there. That is, that's amazing.
Man, that's a scary sight when you're a driver and all you see is you look on your left-hand side and you see asphalt and then you see wall.
Adam Jocelyn, you got a copy on me?
Yeah, I got a copy on you.
Well, you just went for a wild ride there. Can you tell me about that?
I got a little tight trying to hold the car off behind me, and I tried to flip the car over on the front stretch pretty much.
Yeah, now, how much damage was done to that 83 car?
We got 3 minutes optional, but we're going to see how it goes here. I'm going to give her hell.
All right, good luck with that, and, that was one tore-up race car you got there. Crazy ride, good luck.
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to take it to the caution cam real quick, and we'll be right back. straight there. We're back here on the American Sim Network, getting ready to go under 20 laps to go.
As we have a whole upset in that front row. It's definitely going to be interesting seeing, you know, we've had that very scary crash with Adam, and Adam has fell back to 6th, and he has damage on it. So it's definitely going to be interesting how he handles as we go green. Pace car comes down, Flagman's going, and they are back off once again on the speedway. Let's go as look at. Ooh, we got contact. The 5. Oh no, AJ.
Oh, that's
spinning.
the 5-car round. That'll be another caution flag.
Ooh,
AJ
contact,
Brissett
huge.
got turned around there. And see, that's the kind of wrecks you see at short tracks like this. You don't see major 5-car pileups. You'll see cars get kind of turned around, and that's it. But it does bring out cautions. I'm going to have to watch from the start Brissett, that number 5 machine.
After the number 5 AJ go around and he gets spun.
Oh, he made contact with the 67 and had to check up, and the 31 had nowhere to go, and that's why he got turned around. But if you saw that, he hit the 67. We're going to have to get another look at that. We'll get one more look from his nose cam. Watch is coming into the corner. He'll hit the 67. Just give him a little bit of a bump. Bam. And whoop, he's around.
Yeah, but also look at what happened
the
after.
999 to dodge that wreck.
Look at that 38 and Mike Mahoney just I didn't know if he thought he was going to be clear and Adam wasn't in the way, but huge damage to the front damage to the nose of that number 38 machine.
Multiple incidents happening after the caution. Yeah, look at the nose of that car, completely destroyed. How'd that happen? Gonna get an instant look back on that one there. Once again, from the start of the race, or restart. See, the wreck happens there. Everyone has to check up, and nope, there it is.
Yep.
Well, that's going to be even more repair time for the number 83 of Adam Yoslin. He's got, I don't think there's an undamaged part of that race car now. Good news, though, Gerald Wheeler is back on the lead lap, running in 5th. So a nice turnaround for the Mercedes. Very nice turnaround indeed. Colin Allman, race leader. We're going to take you to a quick caution cam. We'll be right back. Back green, coming to the green flag here in just a few moments. 11 laps to go and 10 cars left in the race. Man, oh man, have we seen some interesting events unfold in the last few laps.
These last laps have been some of the craziest we've seen at a home trip.
Green flag is out, 11 laps to go. Question is, will we see that caution flag fly again in the last laps of this race? Tell you what, though, the 23 of Jonathan Smith, it might be all it takes for him to win the race.
A look at Joseph and that 12. We haven't seen him a lot tonight, but he's right there, too. He's putting pressure on Jonathan Smith to maybe give him a little bit of a bump draft to get by that leader.
That could be, and look at, you know, you mentioned that. Look at the leader, Colin Allman. He's not pulling away anymore. Look at that. Actually, that gap is closing. Could that 67 car have lost what I'm going to call the magic touch?
As we got a battle for 5th, as you have AJ and Adam, that's battle for 4th, my bad. battling, and just speed in Adam's car is just not what it is anymore. We saw AJ at the very beginning of this event, very loose and tail happy, spinning that right rear tire on exits, and now he's up in 4th. Good job to him.
Well, you know, I think Adam has an excuse for being a little bit slower. He did kind of ramp over basically the wall.
I mean, you know, maybe he just wanted to test. He wanted to test out the suspension. How about that?
Yeah.
As Adam is getting passed again by Ryan in that 31. I wonder if when we talked to him, he said the car is just tight. When you can see the car is just tight. So I wonder if you just made it tighter, which makes it just not fun to drive.
You can't make adjustments to these cars once the race starts, but I feel like if we're talking about the wreck still, I feel like what happened was Adam just kind of rode it a little too high off the corner and didn't see the wall there.
As we talk about that gap is what's closing. That gap's not closing anymore as we do come to 2 to go with Colin Allman as he is checked back out and is pretty much just coasting to this finish.
Yeah, 2 laps to go right here. Colin Allman gonna probably come to win this race. I don't see him losing.
There'll have to be a mechanical failure for that machine not to go across that line and take that checker flag.
Or a massive driver failure. 1 to go. I know I probably shouldn't say that, but that's what it would take at this point, is the driver to screw up greatly.
As you're going to see a battle here for 3rd, as you have AJ and Joseph going in. AJ kind of puts the nose there, but he didn't.
Yep, he'll hold on to 4th, and Joseph McWhorter will finish 3rd. You see the top 10 on the left of your screen. How about Russell Eiler, though? He'll finish inside the top 10 and on the lead lap. Good job, Russell. I don't think he's finished a race this season, much less on the lead lap and inside the top 10. It's not a win, but I think for him, I'd call that a pretty good success.
Especially at the at the very beginning, we noticed that he was having a lot of difficulties keeping that car off the wall. So for him to come home and 8th, that's not good job to him.
Indeed, as we watch the fireworks and get ready to head down to pit lane for that interview. And I'll let you actually talk to our race winner.
Colin, we're down in victory lane. There's Gatorade all over the place. The car is covered in juice. How do you feel right now, knowing that you've had a great car at the beginning, and now you come home being the winner?
It feels good, man. I wish a couple of other competitors were here tonight because I really wanted to have a shot at them and see what they had for me tonight. But all in all, it was a good race. I was happy with the setup and glad we could come over with a win.
Now, what does this, as we are waiting for the official word for points to come up and whatnot, how does this set your team up for the points? There was a very tight points battle before you entered tonight's race. You come home with the win. How does that motivate your team to keep pushing, to get better cars for each week, and to get that good setup and to keep winning and get that championship?
Well, the goal is to win every week, regardless of points. I'm all about winning every week and running the best I can every week, and we're gonna prepare every week so we can come out on top.
Wow, that's great to hear. Now, who helps you get that car coming to the track each week?
First off, I'd like to thank my dad and my sister. They're both watching right now. I'm giving them a shout out. But I gotta thank Bob Loran. He helps me a lot. Learned a lot from him through the past couple weeks. Really happy with the way our setups are going and how fast we've been lately, which is awesome because been on iRacing for a long time and I ain't been this fast yet. So it's good to finally get really fast and really competitive with the top guys in here.
Well, with that being said, we're gonna let you go off. I see those few other people that want photos with you, and we got talk to those people, and we want to let you celebrate your great win. So congratulations to you, and make sure you come home, bring that car back to Victory Lane next week.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for doing the broadcasting. That's cool.
And I will talk to our second place finisher. How about Jonathan Smith? Have you got a copy on me, buddy?
I got you.
Well, you came home second tonight. You had, I'd say, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, despite only leading 5 laps. Did you think you would have had a chance to pass Colin, especially with that second caution coming out?
I think Colin really had the fastest car tonight. I mean, he was just driving away. But maybe if we would have had a really short restart there, I might have had a chance.
How did that number 23 car handle all night, especially when you were battling Adam earlier in the night? You guys were going at it tooth and nail.
The car was handling great. Just about every 15 laps, I was messing with the brake bias a little bit, and it was stuck right to the bottom of the track. He was doing a great job holding me off on the bottom, though. That was a really fun battle.
All right, and anyone you want to thank, sponsors, that kind of thing?
I've got to thank Driven Designs, Rise Graphics, and all my teammates over at Driven Motorsports.
All right, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, from all of us at the American Sim Network, we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Tomorrow night, the IndyCar Series from the International Sim Drivers Club hits up the beautiful Phoenix International Raceway. It'll be me and Dylan Ankart calling that race, coming at you live at 9 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern Time. Do not miss a second of that great race. We'll see you then, and good night, everybody.